Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Government House. My name is Hugh Borroman. I have the honour to be the official secretary to Her Excellency the Governor, and I'll be the Master of Ceremonies this afternoon. On behalf of Her Excellency the Governor, the Honourable Francis Adamson, AC, and Mr Rod Bunton, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to Government House this afternoon for the presentation of the 2023 Governor's Multicultural Awards. As we start, there are a few practical arrangements I should draw your attention to. Could you please ensure your mobile phones are turned to silent? We do have official photographers, but you are welcome to take your own photographs, but if you could please remain seated while you do so. If you don't wish to have your photograph either taken or particularly published, could you please let one of the staff know? The toilet facilities are located behind the marquee to that direction, and in the extremely unlikely event that we need to evacuate, there are two exits, the one that you came through and one down in that direction. If you are able, can I now ask that you please be upstanding for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the Vice-Regal Salute. The Vice-Regal Salute is the first and last 4 bars of the Australian National Anthem, and no singing is required. You'll run out of music very quickly. The official party is led by Her Excellency the Honourable Francis Adamson, AC, Governor of South Australia, and Mr Bunton, and includes the Honourable Zoe Bettison, MP, Minister for Multicultural Affairs, representing the Premier, the Honourable David Spears, MP, Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Jing Lee, MLC, Shadow Minister for Multicultural South Australia, Commander Tony Ryder, ADC RAN, Commanding Officer HMAS Encounter, Royal Australian Navy, Air Commodore Adrian Meso, AM, Senior Air Force Officer, South Australia, Royal Australian Air Force, Colonel Adam Hay, Deputy Commander 9th Brigade, representing the Commander and Army Area Representative, South Australia, and Commissioner Grant Stevens, APM LEM, Commissioner of South Australian Police. Please be seated. In addition to members of the official party, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of other dignitaries who are with us today. His Honour Judge Ralph Sulio, AM, District Court, and Chair of the Governor's Multicultural Awards Independent Judging Panel, and members of the judging panel, members of the South Australian Consular Corps, members of the South Australian Multicultural Commission, and of course, our very special finalists and winners of today's awards. It's now my pleasure to invite Mr Tobias Turner from Southern Cultural Immersion to the stage to share our welcome to country. Tobias.
Nina Mani. Fantastic. For those of you who are unaware, Nina Mani means, how are you? The response is Mani I. All right, let's try it one more time. Nina Mani. Fantastic. So Nina Mani, it means how are you, but it also asks you, are you well? Is your land healthy? And are you fat? So you're all looking very chubby today. Fantastic. So it just highlights the deeply embedded relationship with the land that Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Islander people have right across Australia. But Kaurna people share a deep connection to our country, and that's why we ask Nina Mani. I'd like to begin by telling you a little bit about the smoking ceremony some of you experienced and my possum skin cloak. So today we burnt coastal daisy bush, Olearia oxalaris. It's a traditional herb that was used both in cooking for flavouring. Some people refer to it as coastal rosemary, but today we used it for its smoking properties, where it was used to keep away mosquitoes, but also to welcome into ceremonies. My possum skin cloak is based on one of the old Kaurna images of the last full-blooded Kaurna person living on Kaurna country from the museum. It's constructed from about 29 poor little creatures, possums from Tasmania, where it's still legal, to hunt. And it was built in the fashion of the traditional garments worn by our elders. In Kaurna culture and many similar cultures around South Australia, you were born into a possum skin cloak, and as you grew up, a possum skin was added for each year of your birth. So I'd like to formally start this ceremony with a welcome. So Mani Napudna, Yelaka Nadlu Imparenti, Gana Miyerna Yerta, Warpalaka Manka, Young Dilcha, Natalia. So that's just asking you to sit with me today on Kaurna country as we meet on the lands of my family, the traditional owners of the Adelaide Plains. And I ask you to walk together, hand in hand, towards the future. Natalia, thank you.
Thank you, Tobias. We'll be seeing Tobias on stage again soon as a representative for Southern Cultural Emotion, a finalist for the Private Sector Award category. It's now my very great privilege and pleasure to invite Her Excellency the Honourable Frances Adamson, AC, Governor of South Australia, to deliver her welcome address.
Tobias Alia, Gana Bogana Alia, Gana Miana Alia, Yaichi Miana Alia, Kumatana Yartananku, Natuna Tampandi, Gana Miana, Yaichi Yata Matina, Pukininanku, Yalaka Takarecho. Thank you, Tobias, for that lovely welcome to country. I'm always interested when I hear Kaurna people, whether elders or younger people, giving a welcome to country for the very first time. It was the first time I'd heard Tobias, and it may for you also have been the first time. Every time I hear someone speak, I learn something new, and I very much want to thank Tobias for sharing that with us today. Now, my official secretary has done such a good job on all of the acknowledgements that rather than go through it all again, I simply want to thank you all for joining us today. I do, though, want to specifically perhaps point out, because they are exceptionally busy and I never take for granted their attendance at any of our events, but the Honourable Zoe Bettison as Minister for Multicultural Affairs, representing the Premier, of course, the Honourable David Spears, Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Jing Lee, Shadow Minister for Multicultural South Australia. This is a group largely which knows each other, which knows each other personally. In some cases, we've known each other since we were much, much younger. But it's a group of people who very much share the ideals, I think, of what a multiculturalism can look like in the best possible way. You've contributed to making it what it is in South Australia today. And I think, and I hope you would agree, that it's actually one of our greatest assets. So for that reason, Rod and I are delighted to welcome you to the Government House grounds for the 2023 Governor's Multicultural Awards. These awards recognise and celebrate outstanding South Australians who promote multiculturalism and increase the understanding of the benefits of cultural diversity in our community. Our finalists today have all been nominated by an individual, a team or an organisation that is passionate about making a positive contribution to multiculturalism and intercultural understanding and promoting our culturally diverse state. I think it's fair to say that governors have always been champions of multiculturalism and interculturalism. They certainly have been over the 17-year lifetime of the awards. And of course, my predecessor, the Honourable Hugh Van Lay, and his wife Lan, did much to champion the awards, while themselves being shining examples of how to make a suitcase full of dreams real. This afternoon, we will hear stories of courage and determination, of creativity and innovation, of generosity of spirit, of overcoming barriers. We will be uplifted. I know we will, you know we will. I hope that's why you come and support us each year, for those who are regulars, and for those who are here for the first time, let me let you in on a secret. That's the way we'll feel. So I don't want to reiterate what we'll hear in the nominations and the wonderful things that have been done. But I do just want to share with you the fact that Rod and I have been very heartened over the past 12 months as we've travelled more across the state, as we've visited schools, as we've welcomed many young people here for awards. As we travel across the state, we meet many young people who were not necessarily born in Australia. In many cases, their parents certainly weren't born in Australia, but they have risen to leadership positions in their schools. They've understood the importance of being engaged, active citizens. In many respects, in many cases, that's something that they've learnt from their parents. But we see them contributing in some fairly mighty ways. And I want you to know that, because you don't necessarily, all of you, have the opportunity to go into schools and see what we see, and see what we see about our future. You don't, all of you, necessarily come to the Governor's Awards for Civics in Schools, which we held a couple of weeks ago. And the overwhelming majority of young people receiving those awards had come from the similar sort of backgrounds, arriving here relatively recently, hugely appreciative of what our state offers in terms of opportunity, and I think it's fair to say in terms of freedoms also. So I wanted to share that with you. We've also been heartened to see people from a wide range of backgrounds, a very wide range of backgrounds, contributing to the prosperity of our state. And I know employers amongst you, and there are many, highly value the contributions, the different way of thinking, the diversity of thought and experience that comes from the sort of workforces that are now much more the norm in South Australia. We've heard this afternoon at least a few words of what, for most of us, is a foreign language. And I just want to touch on the importance of languages too, because many in the audience today, perhaps most, have learnt a foreign language, either English on arrival in Australia or a foreign language for some other reason when travelling. And if you think back to how hard that can be and how hard won your present-day fluency is, I think it's just something that we should think about. Rod and I, as diplomats, spent quite a lot of time as students, and then while we were diplomats ourselves, learning foreign languages. And it really struck me a year or so after returning to South Australia. I've spent all that time learning foreign languages, and yet neither of us spoke in any meaningful way the languages that have been used on First Nations country here in South Australia for tens of thousands of years. And that's really what motivated us to spend a couple of weeks at the University of South Australia in January studying an Ananu Pitjantjatjara Yankunytjatjara course, which will equip us a little bit, not anywhere near fluently, but a little bit when we travel to the APY lands to be able to speak with those people who live there in their language. Of course, only part of it was about the tuition. The real gift for us was the commitment of the Ananu tutors to sharing their knowledge about their lands, their knowledge about their culture, their language, their knowledge about how to make their way in two worlds. And that theme, the ability to make your way in two worlds, is something I think we could just reflect on briefly today, because it applies to many people here, including those we're honouring today. Just finally, though, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to making the Governor's Multicultural Awards a success. In particular, His Honour Judge Ralph Sulio for his stewardship of the judging committee. The committee, of course, for its diligence. There are many, many nominations that are received, and I'm always touched by the diligence of the committee in working through them and making the unenviable decisions that we ask them to make. I want to thank everyone who nominated a person or group deserving of recognition. The nominees who do so much for our community, not seeking accolades, but just quietly helping to make a difference. And the winners, who will be announced shortly, for their hard work and generosity of spirit. I hope you all continue to contribute to a vibrant community that honours our past, celebrates our present, and shapes a future where diversity remains South Australia's greatest asset. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's now my pleasure to introduce you to this afternoon's performance by Sounds of the Hazara. Formed in 2023, the group features well-known Adelaide Hazara singers Feroz Ansari on harmonium and Mehran Yawari on keyboards, who play in collaboration with world music artists Keith Preston on santur and Quinton Ayres on guitar. The group presents traditional and contemporary Hazara songs, a style of music from the Afghan Hazara culture that has Persian, Central Asian and subcontinental influences. The group's aim is to create a world music style of Hazara music and share this tradition and culture with the Australian public. They recently presented a fringe show at Nexus Arts and will be performing again soon in Adelaide. Please enjoy Sounds of the Hazara.
Yoki burin ba mazor mulla mamajon Sayle gule lo lazor o dilbar jon Sayle gule lo lazor o dilbar jon Yoki burin ba mazor mulla mamajon Sayle gule lo lazor dilbar jon sayle gule lo lazor o dilbar jon yoke kore ba mazor o jon sayle gule lo lazor o dilbar jon سری کوی بلند فریاد کردم علی شیر خدا را یاد کردم علی شیر خدا را یاد کردم علی شیر خدایا شای مردان دلی ناشاد ما را شاد و گردان دلی ناشاد ما را شاد و گردان یا که بریم به مزار محمد جان سیل گل لال زار و دلبر جان علی شیر خدا گردن دوا کن مناجات مرا پیش خدا کن مناجات مرا پیش خدا کن چراغای روغنی نظر تم تو به هر جا عاشق است دردش دوا کن به هر جا عاشق است دردش دوا کن یا که بریم به مزار محمد جان سیل گل لال زار و دلبر جان سیل گل لال زار و دلبر جان سیل گل لال زار و دلبر جان
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Feroz, Miran, Keith and Quinton. And you'll have the opportunity to hear some more of that wonderful music after the awards ceremony. We now come to the central part of the awards, which is the presentation of the 2023 Governor's Multicultural Awards. It's already been done a number of times, but probably can't be done too many times to acknowledge and thank the work of the judging panel for once again reviewing the very many nominations with such care and dedication. So thank you from all of us. For these awards, there were 85 nominations across the 9 award categories, and today we are recognising 25 outstanding finalists on stage. For each category, I will first announce the finalists who will individually make their way onto stage, accept a certificate from Her Excellency, have their photograph taken, and then remain on stage. After all the finalists have been recognised, I will then announce the winner, who will come forward to receive a trophy from Her Excellency. I ask all finalists to please remain on stage while I read the winners' citations. For some categories, the judges may also have selected a highly commended finalist, and in this instance, the highly commended finalist should also remain in place while I read their citation. Your Excellency, I now invite you to the stage to present the 2023 Governor's Multicultural Awards. The first category for this afternoon's presentation is Arts and Culture. The finalists for this category are, first, the Filipino Cultural Association, represented by Dr. Joy Penman. The next finalist is Ms. Elizabeth Sikora. And the third finalist is Slava Ukrainian Cultural Centre, represented by Mrs. Aliona King. The Arts and Culture category has both a highly commended finalist and a winner. The highly commended finalist is Slava Ukrainian Cultural Centre. Respected across South Australia for its cross-cultural dancers, singers and musicians, Slava has participated in and organised numerous multicultural festivals and events since its inception in 2018. Slava has also supported newly arrived displaced Ukrainians to adjust to their new lives in South Australia. Congratulations once again to Slava Ukrainian Cultural Centre. I'm pleased to announce the winner for the Arts and Culture Award is Ms. Elizabeth Sakura. For 20 years, Elizabeth from the City of Marion has supported artists showcasing their traditional culture through programs that have reached an estimated 62,000 people, raising awareness of multiculturalism. Recent initiatives include performances by the Nexus Arts Orchestra, an interfaith forum to promote harmony, Refugee Week, a multicultural musical and dance spectacular, and a mosque open day. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking all our finalists and congratulating the winner, Ms. Elizabeth Sakura. Our next award is the Community Sector category. Please welcome our finalists to the stage. Firstly, COTA SA Strength for Life program, represented by Ms. Clara Tate. Next, Mr. Nader Ibrahim. Next, the Multicultural Communities Council of South Australia Men's Group, represented by Mr. Ukash Ali Ahmed. And finally, STARS, Survivors of Torture and Trauma Assistance and Rehabilitation Services, South East, represented by Mrs. Sophie Coote. This category received many outstanding nominations, and the judges had quite a challenge to determine both the shortlist and the winner. I'm delighted to announce that, in fact, this year we have joint winners for the community sector category. In no particular order, I'm pleased to announce the first of our joint winners of the community sector award is Mr. Nader Ibrahim. Six years ago, Nader co-founded the social enterprise One Culture, employing migrant, refugee and Indigenous youth and connecting young, vulnerable South Australians in the migrant and disability communities through sport. As a member of the Australian Egyptian Society and active supporter of the South Australian Social Enterprise Council, Nader has organised community initiatives delivering vital needs, from promoting vaccination to organising an international women's tournament to raise awareness of period poverty, which can be a significant barrier to sport participation. Nader Ibrahim. The second of the joint winners of the Community Sector Award is STARS, Survivors of Torture and Trauma Assistance and Rehabilitation Services. As advocates for new arrivals and refugees across the Limestone Coast, the Mount Gambier chapter of STARS travels long distances and works long hours to ensure the safety and comfort of vulnerable people. They organise community forums and multicultural events in conjunction with the Australian Federal Police and South Australia Police to help develop relationships in communities from countries where authorities may not be trusted. Their considerate, respectful and genuine care inspires confidence from the community. Congratulations once again to our joint winners, Nader Ibrahim and Stars, and to all finalists. The next award category is Media. Please welcome our finalists to the stage. Firstly, Mr. Eric Ho. And our second finalist is Mr. Tajinder Halan. The media category this year has both a highly commended finalist and a winner. The highly commended finalist is Mr. Tajinder Halan. The judges highly commended Tajinder for his compelling storytelling through his Tejjo TV channel, focused on Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Afghani and aligned communities. His linguistic versatility has enabled him to effectively communicate and connect with widespread audiences, fostering an understanding of cultural diversity within South Australia. It's therefore no surprise to announce that the winner of the award is Mr. Eric Ho. As a media personality across a host of platforms, including Facebook, WeChat, Little Red Book, TikTok, Eric has reached an audience of more than 20,000 in myriad communities and countries. His unwavering commitment to multiculturalism is evident in his news reporting and enthusiastic promotion of various cultural events. His use of media to connect people is exemplified by his Chinese radio program, an invaluable lifetime, especially for older generations living in isolation. Congratulations once again to both Eric and Tajinder. We now come to the private sector category, and I'd like to welcome our finalists to the stage. First, Mr. Kalim Ullah. Next, Dr. Lalith Gamage. Third, Livability Care Australia, represented on stage by Mr. Santosh Adhikari. And lastly, Southern Cultural Immersion, represented on stage by Tobias Turner. The private sector category this year also has a highly commended finalist and a winner. I'm pleased to announce that the highly commended finalist is Dr. Lalith Gamage. With a track record of serving rural and remote communities, paediatrician Dr. Gamage was highly commended for his community leadership and dedication to child health, his innovation in health delivery and organ donation, and employment of workers from migrant and refugee backgrounds. Congratulations, Dr. Gamage. The winner of the private sector category award is Southern Cultural Immersion, Tobias Turner. Judges praised Southern Cultural Immersion's efforts to promote understanding and acceptance of Australia's First Nations people. Ghana owned and employing majority Aboriginal staff, the team's custodianship of the Living Ghana Cultural Centre sees it sharing Aboriginal histories, cultures and stories to thousands of visitors annually, building respect, connection and a willingness to move forward as one. Congratulations once again to all finalists and the winners. We now turn to the public sector category and welcome to the stage our finalists. City of Salisbury Community Health and Wellbeing, represented by Ms. Vesna Harachik. The Rural City of Murray Bridge Community Services, represented by Ms. Heather Barclay. And Lifetime Support Authority People and Partnerships, represented by Mr. Rick Howe. We again have a highly commended finalist and a winner in this category. The highly commended finalist is Rural City of Murray Bridge Community Services, Ms. Heather Barclay. The Rural City of Murray Bridge is highly commended for more than 20 years of welcoming refugees and migrants, whom they call new neighbours, through events such as the annual Refugee Week All Culture Fest celebration, which engages more than 30 nationalities. In 2022, Murray Bridge won Welcoming City accreditation from promoting understanding of diverse cultures. The winner of the Public Sector Award is the Lifetime Support Authority People and Partnerships, Mr. Rick Howe. The Lifetime Support Authority supports people seriously injured in road accidents. Exemplifying commitment to multiculturalism in the workplace, its People and Partnerships team has developed a strategy focused on inclusion and belonging. The team drives initiatives such as cultural and diversity training for clinical service providers who support those living with long-term injuries, and celebrations for Harmony Day and Harmony Week for employees and their families in its efforts to retain and recruit employees from different cultural backgrounds serves as a role model for other South Australian organisations. Congratulations to all finalists. We now come to the Volunteer Award, and in this category the finalists are Mr. Nakibullah Hakim, Mr. Rahim Zaidi, Mr. Qasim Bamansada, and Mr. Nasir Hussain. And the winner for the Volunteer Award is Mr. Rahim Zaidi. In a story of remarkable courage, Rahim fled Afghanistan to spend several years in a refugee camp in Pakistan before migrating to Australia in 2008. He set about learning English and established his first restaurant in 2012 and a second one some years later. Noticing that many young Afghans lacked recreational opportunities, he established the Ghan soccer team, beginning in 2012 with young men and expanding to young women in 2016. The Ghan Soccer Club is now a multicultural meeting point for some 160 diverse players, over a third of whom are female. He sponsored the inaugural Afghan soccer tournament, bringing together teams from across Australia and overseas. Not content to rest, Rahim generously continues to provide his time, energy and money to support the success of the Ghan Soccer Club. Congratulations to Rahim and all our finalists. We now move to the Senior Volunteer Award, and it's my pleasure to announce the two finalists for this category. Mrs. Giovanna De Cianni. And our second finalist, Mr. Khalid Farouki. This is another category that has a highly commended finalist in addition to the winner. The highly commended finalist of the Senior Volunteer Award is Mr. Khalid Farouki. Khalid's community and cultural work spans 40 years since arriving in Adelaide in 1982. He founded the Pakistani-Australian Association of South Australia and has been active in various multicultural organisations. Now an elder, he is highly commended for guiding the Pakistani community to contribute its share in building a comprehensive multicultural mosaic in South Australia. Mr. Khalid Farouki. It therefore follows that the winner of the Senior Volunteer Award is Mrs. Giovanna De Cianni. Giovanna, Jill, has worked tirelessly to build a career, a family and a community in the Campbelltown area since arriving in Australia in 1960, unable to speak English. In 2009, she established the twice-weekly Heart Foundation walking group at Thorndon Park, which now boasts 80 members. Walkers benefit from the park's peaceful atmosphere that helps manage their mental and physical health, boosts community connections, and encourages conversations for people who have English as a second language. In 2022, Jill was named one of the 10 women of Campbelltown and appointed a member of the Campbelltown Council's Ageing Well Advisory Committee, making thoughtful contributions that help bring the community together. Giovanni De Cianni. We now come to the youth category, and the finalists are Ms. Jessica Williams, and the second finalist, Ms. Delnia Palani. This category also has a highly commended finalist as well as a winner. The highly commended finalist is Ms. Jessica Williams. A certified youth worker, Jessica is highly commended for supporting young immigrants and international students grappling with social isolation, homesickness, financial challenges, and housing issues. At Flinders University, she was elected as the People of Colour Officer on the Student Council, and in May 2023, she was honoured with the Spirit Super Connecting Communities Award from the City of Marion's Youth Collective Committee. The winner is, therefore, Ms. Delnia Palani. Delnia exemplifies resilience, service and commitment. Raised in a refugee camp, she faced great hardship, including family violence, war, starvation and illness before arriving in Australia in 2000. Determined to give back to her new home, Delnia learned multiple languages and excelled academically, obtaining a Bachelor of Health Sciences, a Master's in Clinical Nursing and a midwifery degree. Her dedication to improving antenatal care for culturally diverse women stems from her own childhood experience. Working as a registered nurse and midwife, she is unwavering in her efforts to improve healthcare for vulnerable communities. Congratulations to both. This brings us to the final category of the awards, the Outstanding Individual Achievement Award. This award recognises an outstanding individual who has distinguished themselves by advancing and promoting multiculturalism, social cohesion and intercultural understanding in Australia for at least 10 years. Before announcing this year's winner, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and pay our respects to our 2022 Outstanding Individual Award winner, Mr. Volodymyr Kachuk, affectionately known as Wally. Wally selflessly provided invaluable and long-standing service to the Ukrainian community of South Australia and sadly passed away a couple of months after receiving this category's award last year. Vale Wally. It gives me great pleasure to announce that this year's winner for the Outstanding Individual Achievement category is Ms. Rosa Matto. A proud daughter of Italian migrants, Rosa boasts an impressive 30-year career as a multifaceted figure in South Australia. Her accomplishments as a renowned celebrity chef, food writer, consultant, media personality, public speaker and mentor to young women from diverse backgrounds reflects her unwavering determination and leadership. She has played a crucial role in high-profile events, bringing people together through the universal language of food. Rosa's influence extends beyond her Italian heritage as she consistently supports marginalised communities, earning recognition from the Zonta Group and the South Australian Italian Association for her exceptional contributions to women and the arts. Rosa's steadfast commitment to promoting multiculturalism and fostering intercultural understanding make her a deserving recipient of the Outstanding Individual Achievement Award. Her long-term dedication and hands-on involvement in various clubs, charities and causes sets an exemplary standard for all. Ms. Rosa Matto. That concludes the presentations of the awards. Please join me once more in congratulating all our incredible winners and finalists and offering a thanks to Her Excellency. Yes, that brings us to the end of the official proceedings. As I mentioned earlier, we will again shortly enjoy the wonderful music of sounds of the Hazara who will play for us during refreshments. Now, an important reminder, please, for our award winners. The event organisers ask that before you enjoy the refreshments, can you please immediately make your way to the official photo location for your winners' photos with Her Excellency. And we do ask that guests, and we know you're very keen to congratulate the winners, if you could hold off till after the photographs just to keep things moving smoothly. So once again, a final congratulations to all our winners and a thank you to all of you for participating in this year's ceremony. Thank you very much.